Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Infitech. In this video, we are going to see how to delete a particular file or how to delete a particular directory in AWS S3 bucket using the AWS CLI. So we are going to delete some particular files or directories in a AWS S3 bucket using our command line interface with the help of the AWS S3 RM command. So before that, you need some things to be installed on your system. So to access your AWS services via command line, you need to have the AWS CLI installed on your system. So if you are on Mac, you can install the AWS CLI using the homebrew. So with this brew install AWS CLI, you will be able to install the AWS CLI. So this command line interface will help you to communicate with your AWS services programmatically. So basically, and after that, once you have installed AWS CLI, you need something where you can authenticate yourself to communicate with the AWS. So to communicate with the AWS services via CLI, basically you need to get authenticated. So to authenticate, you will be needing something. So and those are nothing but you would be needing AWS access key and AWS secret key from your AWS account and get it from there and configure those keys in your AWS CLI terminal. So how can you get it is, so you can go to the IAM console and go to security credentials, and basically here you can create a new access key. So while creating the access key, you will be getting the access key and the secret access key. So since I've already created, so once you have those, you can come back to your terminal and you can configure your current CLI with the AWS configure command. So with this command, it will ask for your AWS key ID and it will ask for your AWS secret access key. So these two values are just dummy values, but these two values you need to get it from your IAM console in your AWS account. So and after that, you can also specify the region name, but the default will be the US East one. And after that, you can also define the output format on your terminal. So in my case, I kept the output format as table, but also you can keep text or JSON as the output format by just typing JSON here. If you type JSON, any output coming from the CLI commands will be listed out in the form of JSON. And basically JSON is always a developer friendly, but if you want a human readable experience, then you can go with the table as the default output format. Since I have already configured this AWS configure, I am not going to do it now. So once you have configured the AWS CLI, then you are good to go ahead and delete the files in the S3 bucket using our terminal. So I will just show you I have a bucket called Infitech in the S3, and I have a directory called files, and I have a file called image.png. So in the directory files, I have one PDF, two PDF files and one PNG file. Okay, now first let's start with deleting a single file in our AWS S3 bucket. So yeah, and before that, you can also verify your identity with the help of the command. You can say AWS STS and you can say get caller identity. So basically STS is nothing but security token service. Basically this command helps you to verify whether your AWS credentials are matching with your AWS account. So if I enter this, so this is the account which I will be going to access via my CLI. So basically this will come after you configure your AWS configure command. This is just a verification for your configuration. So once you are with this and you are good to go, now let us go ahead and start deleting a single file. So you can say AWS S3 and use the rm command, which is nothing but the remove, and you can use the Amazon ARN format resource name. So you can write AWS S3 colon slash slash and your bucket name. Okay, so this is my bucket name, and you can enter the file name which you want to delete. So I have a file name called image.png, so let me enter it. Yeah, so basically this command should delete that image.png in my file. So when I refresh, this should go. Yeah, as you can see, that particular file has been deleted. So that's about deleting a single file, which is very straightforward. And let's say if you wanted to delete multiple files in a directory, here I'm having a files directory in my bucket. Let's say we wanted to delete only the PDF files and not the PNG files. For that, what you need to do is you can there are two concepts basically. There are include and exclude. Both those are different patterns. So and you can specify the directory name, and you can exclude first let us exclude all the files. So first we are saying do not delete any of the files, and now we are saying include all the files which ends with PDF. Okay, so with this we are using a wildcard operator, and we are want to delete only the PDF files. And if you specify recursive, so basically this recursive command deletes all the files in the internal directories also, if there are any. So recursive will be helpful if you wanted to delete the files in your subdirectories. So if you click on enter, basically it should delete all the PDF files in the files directory. So as you can see, we have deleted file and image PDF files. So yeah, if I refresh this directory, you can see only the PNG file is present. Now I have a internal directory called files, and now the third one which we are going to learn is we are going to remove the entire folder. So in our case it is very simple. We have to say AWS S3 RM, specify the ARN and specify the directory and say recursive. So this will basically delete the entire directory if you do not have any versioning setup in your S3 bucket. Yeah, so it has deleted the single file and also the directory. Now if I go to the bucket and get inside infitech bucket and refresh, as you can see the entire bucket has been deleted. So yeah, since we have deleted only files, like if there are any other individual files in this bucket, you can simply say this. So basically you can specify the root path for your S3 bucket and specify recursive, it will entirely delete your bucket. So yeah, so basically that's all. And one more thing I wanted to mention, let's say you are deleting something and you wanted to be sure about your what files you're deleting. So if you use the flag called dry run, similar like this, so basically it will show you a preview of what files you are trying to delete. So this is very helpful, basically this kind of simulation to show you what files you are going to delete with the command. So if you actually wanted to delete, then just remove this dry run command and go ahead. You will be able to delete the files and directories in your AWS S3 bucket using the AWS CLI. So that's all. Thank you for watching this video.